Hello again, it is Chris Raquel. I am back again. Today I have a very interesting topic I want to talk to you about. It is specifically about how to date correctly for ladies in this instance, but I'll also give some tips for men. So one of the things in this day and age, a lot of the dating is through online or even when you meet someone out and about. If you're entertaining someone and you could have met them online, you could have met them face to face for the first time prior to accepting the date, but I want to focus specifically on the dating aspect. So one of the things you want to be mindful of is prior to that first date, you really shouldn't have a lot of text communication. I know that's more modern in comparison to how it was before there was even texting as an option. You don't really want to do that texting thing. From the woman's perspective, it is making things very casual. It's almost friendly. For me, when I think of texting, I'm texting someone that I already know, that I have some sort of a relationship with, whether it's a close friend, family, something like that. And from the man's perspective, to really show that you're interested, you want to make sure you're putting your best foot forward. So that is scheduling a call, finding out when she's available for a phone call, and then going from there. And for a woman, you should not accept that text communication. It's okay if the man reaches out to you to schedule a phone call with you. There's nothing wrong with that. However, if he's texting you, hey, good morning, how are you? You don't want to respond right away. You want to take your time, and no, it's not playing games, but you can teach people how to treat you. So when you do finally respond to that text, since I'm not saying don't respond at all, when you do finally respond to that text, you can let them know that you're really busy, you're at work, that kind of thing. You probably don't really want to respond that much. If you not responding causes that person to just fall off and disappear, that's perfect. Don't follow back up with them. That's on them to know. They've reached out to you. They wanted to connect with you and get to know you. And if they didn't know you were interested in dating, I mean, they can probably get the idea by you not really responding. Or if they just think in their mind, oh, she's not serious, that's on them. You need to just by you simply saying, oh, I'm really busy now, or even saying something like, okay, I'm free for a call. I'm not saying that every woman needs to say I'm free for a call, because the person who's reaching out, they should already know that. But let's just give them the benefit of the doubt, and you do decide that you want to mention something like, okay, I'm free, when you wanted to chat, something like that's okay. But not saying, when are you going to call me? Do not do that. That's too much. If the person wants to call you, they will. And then from there, if they didn't get the hint by you saying, oh, I'm free to chat at this time, or just something along those lines, just let it go, because you're interested in dating someone. You're interested in someone who's going to be serious about you. And in this day and age, yes, you don't know the intentions of anyone, whether it's the intention of a woman or the intentions of a man. However, part of the dating process is to put your best foot forward. It's not to be so suspicious of people, as in, well, this person didn't really respond back to me. I approached them, even though they gave me their phone number. They must not be interested, because now they're not texting me back. Well, no, maybe you approached them for their number. They thought you wanted to call them, not text them, not ask them for their social medias. So maybe that's why they're not responding. So it's not about being suspicious of people from a man's perspective or woman's perspective. For instance, if a man asks you for your number and you're interested in him, I mean, you may want to give him your number, or you may want to just chat for a little bit in person if you're like at a public location, something like that. If it's in passing, that's going to be up to you to decide, did this person approach you okay? Did they make any comments about your body? If they did make a comment about your body, you do not want to give them your phone number. They're not serious. And just go from there. If they seem like they're okay, they don't look like they're off mentally, that's not to offend anyone. That just means, when I say that, it's meaning someone who seems like they have some issues to where they would not be a good candidate for dating unless they've gotten some help. So if everything seems okay based on appearance, meaning they're put together, put together as in, okay, if they tell you that they work construction and they're dressed like a construction worker, there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm laughing because why did I use construction? Because they're known to approach women. That's why I'm like, oh, that's funny I use that. But if they seem okay, just based on how they look physically, then go from there. If you would like to give their number, not saying you need to, I don't personally recommend giving anyone your social media. Here's why. Although with your phone number, you're able to see, you're able to reach someone more directly. With the social media, they're going to have access to all your pictures, which you don't really want, especially if you didn't meet them on online dating. But even if you did, you still don't want to give them your social media. You don't want to give them your social media because that is also making it casual. Not everyone, but think of how a lot of people accept friend requests on your social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it may be. Some people accept it from anybody. So in terms of a person approaching you, if it's for a dating purpose, you want to make sure that it's not super casual. You don't want to give the person the wrong impression. If you don't use your social media a lot, you can say, oh, no, I don't really use it, if it's true. Or you can just say, or actually, if they ask you for it instead of your phone number, if you're okay with being a little direct, you can say, oh, why'd you ask for my social media? Like, what's that about? Just to see what they say. If it's in person, if it's an in-person connection. But yeah, I just don't really recommend it. And then men, I don't recommend you asking for a woman's social media. A man might say, well, maybe she's more comfortable giving her social media if I meet her in person. She may not want to give her phone number. Well, honestly, social media can be a little bit more personal. You can tell a little bit more about someone without getting to know them, as in calling them without talking to them. So don't put something in your head if you don't know whether or not it's true. And by saying that, I mean, if you don't know if she's suspicious of you, don't really make that assumption. So go ahead. If you see a woman you think she's attractive, try to talk to her a little bit first to see if you're interested. Because if it's just based on her look, you should at least have a little conversation with her in person. Remember, this is not just about the chase, just finding a woman you find attractive just to see if she's going to give you your number. Just to see if she's going to give you her number. Don't do that. See if you're actually interested in her. If she's attractive, that's okay. You might want to check to see if she has a ring on. But if you don't notice anything like that, you see that she's attractive, you can move forward. There's nothing wrong with that. And ask. Don't ask for her social media. Ask for her phone number. And then go from there. And then when you get into the dating process, it's really important. So make sure it's not just text messages. It shouldn't really be text messages at all. If you haven't had a first date, it could just be like, hey, how are you? Really, those first text messages are to trying to gauge and schedule a call with the person. That's as simple as that. If you met the person in person, there's nothing wrong with like saying, hey, I want to take you out right then and there. Like, I feel like if you already saw the person in person, you should attempt to, as a man, try to schedule something with her. Say, hey, I'm very you seem very attractive. I want to get to know you. Would you be free this coming week? That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's just gonna be up to you two whether you want to go forward with a date from there, or if you want to have like a phone conversation, something like that before the date. I think it's best to just make sure you're doing the dating process appropriately. The next thing I want to talk about is when it comes to, let's say you didn't meet them in person, so you've met them online. So you're online communicating and you've already had a couple communications through the online app that you're using. You want to be very careful with online dating. I'm going to use that disclaimer right away, just because anyone could pretend. But if you've had a couple communications, that person seems okay, legitimate, then if they ask you for the phone number as a woman, it's okay. Ladies, do not ask for the number of a man. Men, make sure you're gauging the woman. You don't want to ask for her number immediately. As soon as you say, hey, how are you? What's your phone number? You don't want to do that. That just comes off. I know I said don't assume that women are suspicious of men. However, She hasn't had any online communication, even though your phone is kind of, your phone number is a little bit personal. So you want to talk to her a little bit as a man, speak to her, and, you know, just ask her a couple questions like, hey, like how, you know, like tell me about yourself, or no, that's a little bit cliche, but, you know, just ask a couple questions as you would in a conversation, but you can do it through the app. And then from there, you ask for her phone number. You men, you do not want to just sit there, messaging a lot of through the app. A lot of times women think if a man is messaging through the app consistently over and over, like they're bored, they're in a relationship, and they have no intention of meeting. They, like I said, they might be in a relationship. So you don't want that perspective from a woman. So I highly recommend that you, you know, take this step at the appropriate time, men. Women, if a man just outright asks you for your number, they didn't say anything to you, they said, hi, what's your number? I want to know you. No. It's a little bit different because you didn't see them in person. See how what they're gonna say to you, because you don't want somebody to get your number, then they're gonna start saying all these sexual things to you. Sorry, I just looked at my text message. My fiance just texted me. But yeah, you want to make sure that sorry, I lost my train of thought. You want to just make sure that you're dating correctly. You want to make sure that any messages that are incoming to you from your the text app or the online dating app, you want to make sure that they're legitimate, that they're not something crazy. In terms of online dating, depending on what app you're using, I don't know the men's perspective, so I'll just stick with the woman's perspective. You don't want to just think, okay, I joined this dating app and I'm not getting a lot of men, no, I'm not getting a lot of men that seem legitimate. They're just saying all these nasty things to me. They're not being gentlemen. It depends on what app you're on, but, you know, you probably don't want to knock it right away, simply because here's the reason why. Sorry, he's calling me. Here's the reason why. First and foremost, you do not want to just assume that there's not going to be people out there for you. Depending on what app there are, just remember, if it's a super popular app, you need to recognize that all people from all walks of life are going to be on there. So whenever there's a whole wide range of people, for you to get to those few good people, it could take a lot. It can take, maybe if you're on an app for like a couple months or like a month, it can take maybe 200 interactions with other men before you find a few that you're even willing to go on a date with. You know, or even even that you're willing to even have phone conversations with. So that's what it is with online dating. You want to make sure you're screening these people. So that's why I said there shouldn't really be much text communication after there's been an exchange of phone numbers. For example, if you've now exchanged phone numbers and then the person just starts texting you, okay, you're not really gauging them. You're not hearing their voice. You're not hearing like their tone of voice, intonation when they speak, how they speak. You're not really getting much about them at all. So that's why you need to make sure, if you're doing online, you want to make sure that they're giving you a phone call. And then from there, one thing I want you to be mindful of is in those phone conversations, you don't want it to be extensive, ladies, to the point where now you're like, oh, I'm falling for this guy. He has an amazing voice. Oh, yeah, like this is going to work out perfectly. Oh, yeah, let's get on FaceTime. No, go check my video about do not use FaceTime before a first date. But I'll just say in general, you don't want to do that kind of gets rid of the chase, you know, doing those FaceTime communications, and then the man may not want to take you on dates, or they're going to take a long time to take you on dates. That's part of it. There's more to it too. So you want to make sure there's a phone call. You don't want it to be an extended amount of time before you actually get on an in-person date. So you can have one phone call is okay if you're going to meet like in a week. And that could be 30 minutes to an hour. You don't want to give too much of your time when it's going a little bit too much past an hour. That's too much. You're devoting yourself too much, and that person's kind of thinking, okay, so she must not have a life. Like, I can just get her to stay on the phone with me all hours of the night, all day, every day. Even, when she said she had an errand to run, she decided not to do it because she wanted to stay on the phone with me. And then, let's say, typically if there's somebody in your area, you want to get on that person should be trying to schedule a date with you that week. That man, I should say. So if that man is saying, oh, I really want to get to know you, your pictures, you look very beautiful. I know you didn't want to FaceTime, but I really, I just want to get to know you. What's your schedule look like? How about next week? How about next weekend? When I say next week, I mean like 2 weekends from now, like 14 days. That's a little bit off. But if he does say that, he should also provide a reason. Like, yeah, this weekend I had a plan. I had to go upstate and visit my mom, something like that. But in general, if somebody really wants to get to know you, they're going to want to take you out on a date. A man will want to take you out on a date, and I'm saying no coffee dates. Either no coffee dates. Your first date is not a coffee date. A date is not a coffee date. Going out to coffee is not a date. How many different times can I say it? No coffee dates. No coffee dates. It's not a date. But yeah, so he should be asking you out. It could be lunch or dinner, whatever you both decide on. Just make sure you're not focusing on like money and he needs to do this. He needs to take me to a 5-star restaurant, a first date. Okay, no. But one of the things that my fiance did, which I thought was really sweet and cute, he just asked me, he was like, oh, well, where do you want to go? Just pick the restaurant. That's fine with me. So, me, I'm a reasonable person. I picked a place that I really wanted to go to. But even as a man, doing that can kind of help you see the type of woman you have, right? So if you ask her, oh, where would you like to go? Depending on what type of woman she is. So if you can tell she's a woman that wears a lot of designer and that she seems like she spends a lot on everything that she has on, she's wearing red bottoms, and you approached her that way or you saw that in her photos, just know that if you ask her for a first date and tell her, if she can decide where you guys want to go, don't expect her to now lower what she's used to, because you can tell what she's accustomed to, But anyway, my point is, that first date should happen within, or should be scheduled within that first communication. You don't want it to be where the man now is trying to talk your ear off a lot. An hour is pretty much enough, or like 30 minutes or like 2 30-minute conversations is enough for the man to kind of get to know you, see where your head's at, see what some of your beliefs are, and decide if he wants to take you out. You're not here to waste your time. You're valuable. You have a lot going for you. You're smart. You're beautiful. You are, open to finding someone and dating and, eventually settling down with. And you're looking for your husband. You're not looking for him, he's looking for you, but you're ready for marriage. You've done everything that you need to do. You've disciplined yourself. So now you're available for a man that's going to treat you well. So that man should be asking you out within that week's time, within that first 1 to 2 conversations. It's not going to be about him trying to gauge whether or not he wants to spend his money to take you on a date. And I'm not saying spend money as in a lot, because a date can cost, depending on where you go, and it depends on your age too, so not knocking anybody. A man can spend, anywhere from $50, if that's where he would like to go on a date. But on average, like if you just go on a date, you each get like a plate of food, an app. If you're somebody who like grabs a glass of wine or just a beverage, he can spend under $100 on a date. So you don't want it to be where, the man is approaching you. He's interested in you. So regardless of how many options there are, you know who you are. You know what type of woman you are. You know your character. You know your heart. You know that you take care of yourself. So don't let anyone make it feel like you're trying to fight for them to choose you. So don't waste your time. Don't let a man just constantly be talking your ear off, like trying to have 7-hour conversation, trying to have 7 different hour-long conversations, and then yet he still hasn't asked you on a date. Absolutely not. Within that first conversation, he should have mentioned that he wants to see you and that he wants to talk to you. That first conversation. And if it was 30 minutes and somebody had to get off the phone or something like that, it was an emergency came up, something happened that was time sensitive, okay, the second conversation. But after that, absolutely not. We're not here trying to give someone it's almost as if you're saying, okay, I really want him to like me, okay, even though it's obvious he's trying to figure out whether or not he wants to take me out on a date, even though he approached me. I don't care if it's online or in person. Absolutely not. And then from the men's perspective, make sure you're engaging the women too. If you've seen that first conversation that like it's not a fit, based on her photos, you thought she was like a decent person in terms of like the lifestyle that she lives, but after talking to her, she says that she drinks several bottles of whatever every single day, and that's not your lifestyle you're living, that has some addictions that you're not interested in dealing with in a partner. You don't really want to continue those conversations. You've already assessed that this is not somebody you want to take out on a date, and that's it. Within that first conversation, you've assessed some of those things. And then from the men's perspective, if you're ever, don't listen to these people who are saying women are out here trying to use men for food and stuff like that. That's not true. Like, it depends on what type of people you're approaching. If you see a woman and you're approaching a woman that you think she's beautiful, you like the way that she presents herself, if you like somebody who wears a lot of long weaves and stuff, and you're approaching her, and then later on you're going to say, oh, she's materialistic, you approach that person. Like, why did you approach them? And then let's say you've heard a lot that, oh yeah, women like to use people for money. Like, a normal woman, just me knowing women and me having communications with a lot of women in my family, just knowing women, right? Not even saying people who are single or married or not, but women don't really do that unless they're off, like, or unless they don't have a job. Like, that's not the norm. Like, if a woman wants to go out and eat something, a lot of people have some friends. If they at least one good friend, they can go out to a certain restaurant that they want to go to. And I believe women are like some of the biggest spenders. I think women spend more on a lot of those things. So if a woman really wants something, she's gonna buy it herself. Like, if she allows you to take her out, she's most likely interested. Or she thinks, okay, he's interested in me, let me see what he's about. So it's now up to the man to just be on your best behavior, because if you're saying these crazy things, you're saying some sexual things to her, of course she's not going to want to go out with you again. So then we can't now say, oh yeah, she was just using me for food. No, like, as you're a man, you want to be a gentleman. This is what I would tell any young man or any man that's dating. Your job is to make sure you're treating her well, and she is also going to treat you well, and she'll reciprocate how you treat her. However, commenting on a woman's appearance, as in her shape and how physically attracted to her you are, that it's not really good, because it shows where your mind is at. You can say, wow, you're beautiful, you're really beautiful, I think you're very attractive. All you need to do is say that once, and when you meet her in person, well, actually online, it's kind of like, if you even say hello to her, how are you, and you start talking to her, it's kind of obvious that you're attracted to her. So a lot of times, I wouldn't even recommend like commenting so much on the woman's appearance, because usually if you're approaching her, you're attracted to her, and then eventually you can mention it, or when you go on that date, say, oh, you're very beautiful, oh, you look great, something like that. You want to be mindful of doing those things, woman, in terms of dating correctly. So you're on that first date. I'm probably gonna make a video about what to do, like when you're prepping for that first date too. But you're now on the first date with somebody. You've dated them. You're here to ask questions, ladies, men too. Ladies, you're here to, when you're going on a date, you want to make sure you're looking appropriate. So make sure you've put yourself together. Make sure you put on some makeup if you have something you do. Nothing wrong with wearing a little bit of makeup. Make sure you're wearing a cute outfit. I like to wear, like, you know, dresses if I can on dates, but you don't have to. Wear whatever you're comfortable with. If you're gonna wear jeans, make sure it's something that looks good and that looks like crisp. Not like the jeans that you would wear when you are, I think I said this before, when you're cleaning your house. Still not sure if people wear jeans when they're cleaning their house. And then from there, you want to make sure you are having conversations. One thing I always do is I'm always very, like, I smile a lot just in general. I know I'm like a little bit more serious on this video, but you can probably gauge that I can be a little like fun. So you want to be engaging. You don't want to be sitting there just boring. Like, well, when I usually wear my contacts on my dates, and I can be like, so what do you do? Okay, yeah. Then he's asking you, so okay, what about you? I've just been working. I started this job last week. I don't know if yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's good. No, I don't have any kids. I'm not sure if I want them. It would just depend on, you know, whoever I'm with. So the second part is how you should be. Like, you want to laugh if you're enjoying yourself and things like that. But yeah, you really just want to make sure that you are engaging. You're smiling. You're happy to be with them. For a lot of men, sometimes it feels like they've probably been on a lot of dates. There's women who, I'll be honest, there's some women who say, yeah, I'll go out another date with you, but then they never hear from them again. The man never hears from them again. Lady, that's another thing. You want to be honest, right? If you're not, well, here it goes. Men don't really want to ask the woman for a second date right in front of them. I know maybe some people are advising you to do so, but just know it can be satisfying for the woman to know that you want to go out with them and date again. And that's going to make them feel like happy, like, oh, he really likes me. But there are some women who are going to feel nervous. They don't want to tell you to your face that they're not interested. So they're just going to say, yeah, I'll go out with you. Then you're never going to hear from them again. But ladies, in that situation, if you're not interested or you're not sure, just say, oh, give me some time. Okay, we'll talk. Let's talk later. But men, yeah, it's a lot of back and forth going on here. Men, just be careful, because that can be a little bit scary for you to do that to a woman in person. It's good in a way, but you kind of just want to let her settle in. I know maybe there's been cases where women haven't responded after the first date, so maybe you feel more comfortable doing it in person. But just know the woman might be a little bit scared to say no, since she doesn't know you. She doesn't know what you would do if she says no to her face. Or maybe she will think, oh, maybe he's not gonna pay if if I say no. But you want to wait until just wait until the end, or maybe even if you're walking out the restaurant, that could probably make the woman feel a little bit more at ease. Or just wait and just ask her if she got home okay or something like that. That's fine. In terms of, you want to make sure you're asking those great first date questions. You want to make sure that you are, like, asking questions. Don't get too deep on the first date. I'm pretty open. Like, I can probably answer any question that anyone asks of me on the first date. Not that I'm having any first dates ever again, but you want to just make sure that you are yourself. Make sure you're engaging, ladies, meaning that should be who you are. You should be talking. You can laugh. Like, why wouldn't you want to be pleasant on a first date? You're meeting someone, even though you're interviewing him, ladies. Yes, man. Oh, these ladies should be interviewing you, and I highly recommend you tell your daughters to do the same. Not in a bad way, like I was just doing before, but, well, in that situation, it was more so she was just like I don't know, like, just not there. But that's not an interesting, ladies. If you were to act like that, like how I just displayed, a man is not going to be interested in you. So if you're curious as to why a man is not interested, it's probably because of your attitude, or you've somehow, in your first date, if he's not interested, it's primarily probably because you were not engaging in person, or you had filters or you used old pictures. I know it's bad. Like, two of the reasons are because of the looks, right? Like, meaning old pictures, so you may have picked up some weight, or pictures that aren't an accurate reflection of who you are, meaning using filters. Or so if you know you didn't do that, if you know you're not using filters, if you know you're presenting yourself the same as your online photos, or like if you met him in person and you know you're presenting the same way on a date, it's most likely because of something you're doing. If the man is normal, like you are probably a little bit rude, or like you're not being nice to him, or you're talking about some like past things you've been through and it's kind of evident that you haven't healed, that is a possibility. Those are 3 things in regards to you. And of course, there's another reason on his end. It could be he's already in a relationship, he was just playing around. So maybe he's looking for a sponsor in some way and he doesn't think you have enough money, or you didn't offer to split your date, split the meal, or something he didn't like about it in that way. So those are really the main reasons, but you want to make sure you want to make sure you do the right thing in terms of all the things that you can control, what I just mentioned, right? So no old pictures, unless you have from some very recent ones from this past month and you've specified who you are, which one you are. No filtered pictures at all. Put just how you look. And then you want to make sure you're pleasant. Like, what's wrong with being happy? Smile. And yes, it should be. You do not fake it. And then he starts liking you. And then a couple days later, after he's known you for 3 dates, now all of a sudden you're like, yeah, let's, when are we going here? Okay, yeah. Absolutely not. Okay, so that's the first date. You want to make sure you're going on quite a few dates with him. You want to make sure that we're not doing these nothing. There's no such thing as a home date with someone you don't know. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You want to just make sure that you are, presenting yourself appropriately. Oh, first date. Never allow somebody to kiss you on the first date ever. Don't do that. You are too valuable. You do not know this person. Like, that is just opening a door you do not want to do. And if the person wants to kiss you on the first date or tries to, you easily just put that cheek off to the side. And then you can give them, if you feel comfortable giving somebody a hug on the first date, that's okay if they try to kiss you and then you just want to turn it into a hug. But out of being uncomfortable, you don't have to hug them either, okay? And men, stop listening to people who say if a woman likes you on the first date, she's gonna kiss you. No, stop that. That's not true. There's don't do that. That's not true. That is not true. Like, especially if you're dealing with a woman who you see a certain way in terms of character, she has a lot of the characteristics that you want, you really shouldn't try that. Just stop. You can gather whether she likes you based on how she speaks. And in terms how she talks, the things that she talks about. So just be mindful of that. And then also, you want to just make sure, ladies, that you're not presenting yourself in a way that is strange on the first date, meaning there should be no deep cut cleavage tops. I don't recommend you even showing any cleavage on the first date unless you just happen to be extremely busty and almost everything that you show has like a little tip. Like, okay, that's a little bit different. But don't intentionally wear cleavage shirts. I'm not saying you have to wear a turtleneck, but it should be about you. You can beautify your face. Make sure you do your hair, however that is. So if that means, prepping it and, making it curly for that day, or if you want to straighten it, or if you just got a fresh do, that's completely fine as well. You want to make sure your nails are looking good. So, have a little manicure or if we're having your toes, you can have a pedicure. Not saying this is required. However, it is presenting yourself well. If you have a face care routine, make sure you're using your products. Like me, I use retinol. I use hyaluronic acid cream. I use some eye creams. But yeah, you want to just make sure that you're presenting yourself well. I usually always put on some jewelry. I'll put on like a bracelet, my gold bracelets. I'll put on earrings, and I'll put on my makeup, as I mentioned. And I always put on a fragrance. Always put on a nice little fragrance. Invest in one. There's a lot of great perfumes that aren't that aren't expensive. But me, I love to invest in my perfumes. I love my what do I like? Victor Raw Flower Bomb. I think that one smells so good. I have a couple bottles. I kind of stopped using it, but like that was like a fragrance I was so into at one point. I love Prada Candy. I love Fancy Love by Jessica Simpson. That's a department store one. That one is super inexpensive. I haven't purchased a bottle of that in years, but I just remember I loved it. Just buy yourself a fragrance. Go to a department store, whether it's Sephora or a specific fragrance store. Smell to them. Bring yourself about $130 if you have it, or if you're younger, you can always ask for a present from your mom. If you're like, I'm talking to somebody who's like 19, 20, 21. But just, or if you have a job, take a little bit of cash and buy yourself a nice fragrance. And I said that amount just because that's in order for you to get like a nice size bottle, maybe $150. You can get a 3.4 ounce. Or if you want to get a few, you can get the small bottles and get yourself maybe two of, get a smaller size, like 1.7 ounce and another one. And you can just kind of see which ones you prefer. Like definitely, buy quality items for yourself. But as I said, make sure you put on a little spray. Men, put on your little cologne too. It just shows like you're interested in you presenting yourself well. That's mainly the first date, but no cleavage tops, no short shorts, no dresses that you're unable to bend forward, bend over, and then also no low tops to where someone's gonna pop out if you bend over. So you want to present yourself well. Like you're not gonna wear those things on an interview. You're not gonna wear those things if you're going to church. So you don't have to dress up in a suit or anything, but dress well. Something that fits you nicely, that flatters you, and then go from there. And then for men too, you wear something that's clean, wear something that you look nice in, wear something that suits your physique, and go from there. That was the first date. You want to go on several dates. Then once again, I said no home dates whatsoever. You do not want somebody in that space, in your place, in your safe space. Those first dates, that the man should be offering those dates. He should be asking to take you out, or he can say, where would you like to go? Or if men, you're on a specific budget for a date, then you pick the place and you say, I'd like to go here with you. I'd like to, or ask them when they're free, and then say, okay, I have a restaurant in mind. And of course you want to make sure that they don't have any food allergies, for that woman before you start picking places. I can go a little bit more in depth in terms of when I was dating a few people at once, 3 people, just to talk about how one person actually wanted, I had told them certain foods that I don't eat, like in terms of me being primarily a pescatarian, and I don't eat other things, and I had mentioned a few times, and like the restaurant that they chose was like a place that pretty much only had chicken. I had like one option to choose from. Also on that, whenever you're going on a date, you, as a man, you want to make sure you're not picking a place that is where you live. If you live a little bit of a distance from her, and if it's the first date, I'm being honest, this might be controversial, but men, if you live like an hour away from her, do not, this happened to me before, men, you don't want to say, okay, I found a place that's halfway between us. You don't want to do that, because you're saying you're interested in her. And I know in this day and age you might say, well, no, that's not fair. It's not fair because equal rights for everyone, and I don't even know if I like her. Okay, well, if you're not sure, then don't offer her, or don't say you want to take her out on a date, because it's just not a good look. You're trying to, depending on what perspective you're seeing it from, you're trying to court her. You want to court her. You want to get to know her. You are saying, hey, I'm gonna be doing this small gesture of, going on a date with you, and I want to put my best foot forward. And think back in the day, men used to actually pick the lady up. They used to pick her up from her home often. Ladies absolutely do not do this nowadays. Absolutely not. But yeah, you just want to be mindful of how you're presenting yourself. But of course, in that situation, I was very nice to the man. He wasn't a bad person at all. I just explained like, oh, like um let's go. I would prefer. I actually don't remember what I said. I think I said something like I would prefer if we found something in my area. And women, ladies, there's nothing wrong with saying that at all. And then he obliged. He said, oh, okay, yeah, I just said that because they were women before. They, said we should meet halfway. In my head, I'm like, okay, that's fine, but I'm not other women. I know, and it's not like I'm a very fair person, but I think when it comes to that, I do believe that there are specific roles, and if you're a man, you're approaching me as a woman. A man who finds a wife finds a good thing. A man shouldn't be, especially on for a first date, you shouldn't be inconveniencing her in any way. And I know some ladies will say, oh yeah, well, what if he pays for your ride? Okay, that's different, but make sure he doesn't give you your address. And men, I'm not saying you need to pay for her ride to that distance. I'm just saying in general, for a first date, you should probably be the one doing the bulk of that traveling. Yeah, I think that's it. I can talk a little bit more in the future about like other dates, like how many dates before you can make it official with someone. But yeah, definitely the main thing I want you all to remember, I'm talking about dating correctly, and I can talk more about like I said, specifically about how many dates, things like that, what you should look out for on dates. But no home dates. That's not a date. No coffee dates. Nothing. No coffee dates. No. It's just not. It's just showing you like what you deserve. For me, I'll give you a reasoning. If I wanted a coffee, I can go get one myself. I can go get a coffee. Like I can go get a coffee. I can order a coffee. I can go to the coffee shop and get my own coffee. Yes, it's a way to get to know somebody, but buying, especially in this day and age, buying a coffee for someone is not really doing anything. It's not really much of a gesture at all. Spending $4 on someone for a coffee, then they're spending all their time talking to you. The lady spent all her time getting herself dressed for you. A lot of times on dates, a lot of us women we buy ourselves a new outfit. So a man might think, oh, why am I paying all this stuff? The ladies oftentimes, they spend money on themselves to look good for you. So I'm not saying men don't, but women, they oftentimes do. There's been many times where I was like, oh, okay, I know I'm going to be going on dates, so let me refresh this wardrobe. Okay, let me replenish my makeup, things like that. Oh, I need some new shoes. So it's like women, they put a lot into their appearance when we're going out, when we're presenting ourselves in the world, and even on dates. So just keep that in mind. But coffee is not a date. It's just showing, it's not all about money, but it's showing that you're cheap. Even a struggling college student, women or men, can afford to take someone, and I'm sure they do. Okay, let's go to Applebee's. I'm gonna do that 2 for $20 special. I'm gonna buy that for you, honey. Let's get to know each other there. But I think even a college age student can afford a $50 date. I'm not even gonna get into the numbers too much, but just in general, coffee is just showing that you're willing, that you're gonna try to give the woman nothing. You're not going to do anything for her. That's how it comes off. If you want to come off that way, sure, go ahead. And I know sometimes people are saying, it's dangerous out here. Women should always have money. Yes, women, always have your own money just in case something happens on the date. Or if you feel scared that if he pays for you, he's going to try to do something to you that's not so good. Then yeah, always have your own cash. And women, we always have our own cash. There's no problem. It's just the gesture of you doing it for her. But yeah, I think I'm going to stop here. I want to make sure my videos aren't getting too long. I will talk in the next videos more about dating correctly and how many dates you should do and what type of things that you should look out for on a first date. I hope this video helped. Please send me, if you have some questions that you have, please send me a message at the email that I'm going to list below as well. And then we can go from there. Thank you. Talk soon. Love you.